So here is sexy BJ Bray starting a fight on WWE LFG that's about to air on A&E. Yeah, sexy BJ Bray, BJ Ray, sorry. This guy was on the Roku or Tubi show called WWE Next Gen as well. He's one of the guys that like made it through. Now a bunch of them got released, and the ones that made it through that show are now on this LFG show. It's pretty crazy. I don't know what happened there, but this is like tough enough too. Like some of these kids, this kid in particular, has already had a camera following him around for that whole Next Gen show. So, and he was a dick on that show too. But anyway, I'm glad that defines you, Bubba. Dude, it does define him. Yeah, like that's the whole thing. That's the reason why you're in that position and he's in that position. So it's kind of funny, his cope. And yeah, it is funny too. He's like, "Oh, you're high horse, Bubba." And then Bubba's like, "I'm not on my high horse." And then he starts flexing every title he's won in every company he's in. So they're both kind of, I don't know, not to say hypocritical, but they're both just saying what they got to say to own each other. They're super funny. Can't wait for more of that. Samantha Irvin was on Busted Open. And I quote tweeted this and said, look, Samantha was on America's Got Talent and The Voice, I'm pretty sure, with the singing and other stuff. That stuff didn't connect, but led her to the thing she didn't know she'd be considered one of the GOATs at, ring announcing. Then she thought she'd be able to trade the ring announcing in to do what? The stuff that didn't connect before. I'm not one to judge anybody's journey, but this comes across like she just wants to be the main character somewhere. That might seem harsh, but listen to what she says, and shout out Busted Open. David LaGreca, Nick Nemeth. And I'm a Samantha fan, you know, but just listen to what she's saying here. It's like, she's like, I just wanted the chance to speak. And it's like, bro, you had that chance to connect with the masses in this way on America's Got Talent. It didn't work, bro. The singing career didn't take off. I'm sorry. It led you to this weird thing you didn't know you wanted to do, but then you still want to be the star of the show, is what it sounds like.
I am more of a fan than a ring announcer and an employee.
Samantha, come back.
You know,
Uh-oh.
I just wanted to have an opportunity to challenge if maybe it wasn't just the ring announcing people loved. I just wanted an opportunity to challenge that notion. Give me a chance to see if maybe it's just Samantha.
Maybe it's just Samantha. No, it's not just Samantha. That's the problem, right? And we would have known if it was just Samantha when you were on The Voice. You know what I mean? Like the masses would have picked up on it. It's not that. And I'm not trying to shun her at all. But you guys get what I'm saying. Like, she's like, I'm more of a fan than an employee. And then it's like, okay, then why don't you do like every fan's dream is to just sit there and go, making their way to the ring. That's like every fan's dream job. It's the easiest job. You get to sit right next to every match. And so what's more of a fan thing? Well, I just wanted to give a chance to see if it was more than Samantha. So you didn't want to be a fan. You want to be on the show as like a main character, is what you're saying. And she even says at one point, which I don't know if it's in the bookmarks or where it's at, but she says like she wanted to be a referee even. So it's like she just wants to be in the ring with people looking at her. And it's like, that's why they didn't make you a ref, because then you get an Aubrey Edwards, dude.
Put me in some other positions. Let me speak. You know, I never spoke. Not one time, except for when I said.
Except for every show when I said, making their way to the ring. Weighing in at 245 pounds from Pensacola, Florida. The winner. I didn't get to speak except for every show ever when I had the mic and was told to speak. The ring introductions.
Thank you, Lillian, when she hugged me up for the thing. But I've never said a free word. So when I said, you know, I don't like announcing, like that's not really what I want to do. It's hard. It's like you got to memorize. It's like it's a real job, people. Like it's not just the craziness that I'm doing.
You didn't want a real job? I don't get it. So the acting ain't a real job, bud?
It's a real job that I'm honestly not good at, because I'm gonna cry if Shawn Michaels comes out. So
that I'm honestly not good at. No, you're really good at it. Like we're all telling you you're good at this thing, you know? And that's fine. That's why we can't judge her. She just doesn't want to do it. You really just ain't about it, I guess. Then okay.
I'm not good at this. So
that's what made you good at it, though. That's what made you good at it.
I know. I really loved my time there. I loved every single moment. And for me, Samantha Irvin always had a plan. She always was thinking about how she was going to get out of that chair and get on the other side of things.
That's a problem. That's the problem right there. WWE Superstar Julius Creed, real name Jacob Casper, has been brought in as part of Daniel Cormier's Ultimate Fighter 32 coaching team. Casper is a two-time NCAA All-American and previously helped Cormier train for his UFC 214 rematch with John Jones. So there you go. Anybody wondering how legit the Creed brothers are, don't get more legit than that. There's Michael Chiesa over there as well. And this is the little guy who was pushing Brock Lesnar when Brock Lesnar came in and pushed Daniel Cormier in the octagon. This is that little dude who was like trying to push Brock, you know? I think that's a striking coach or one of his coaches. But yeah, there you go, dude. One half of the Creed brothers training on the Ultimate Fighter. Be good. So after Linda McMahon introduced Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, and Shane McMahon to the Senate, a wild protester got kicked out. Here we go.
Cassidy. Yes, I'd like to introduce my daughter, Stephanie McMahon, Paul Levesque, her husband, and my son, Shane McMahon. I'm so happy to have them here, and many friends have come from far places, so I welcome having them here today and appreciate that they're here. So, Cassidy.
Here is, I posted this and people were like, seems like a bit of a reach. I just posted what Bully Ray said for the show. I don't agree or disagree with this, but basically Bully Ray has a bit of a conspiracy theory. So Bully speaking on cutting Blair Davenport over Will Ospreay's comments on Triple H. So essentially, just listen. He's like, Dave, remember how I've always said that pro wrestling is like the mafia? They don't screw with you. They screw with your family. From my understanding, the mafia, a lot of them had like a no family. Maybe that's not all mafia. I know that there's mob movies and stuff, but I thought a lot of them too had like a you just go after each other type. No, I don't know. Maybe it all depends. I know like obviously different, the New York mob and then like Whitey Bulger's mob probably operate differently, but I don't know. I don't know why I thought that, but maybe Will Ospreay never should have made those comments about Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. So he's talking about Blair Davenport. Like Ospreay's been broken up with her for a long ass time. So I don't think it's pettiness on Triple H's part firing Blair Davenport. I just, you know, but how it still could have played into WWE's decision, even though the two are no longer together. And Bubba says, sure, it would. Absolutely, it would, without a doubt. Whether or not they're together, I don't know. They could have been together at one time. But yes, it absolutely would have something to do with it. Don't kid yourself. You've never spent a day, in the WWE. You don't know how they work. And that's fair. But I don't know. That's a little conspiracy theory-ish. I just think that's too much. I don't think they give about that, or they would have never called her up. They would have fired her in NXT. They would have never hired her if that was the case. Sexy Red was reportedly offered a permanent role as a wrestler in WWE. So this is speaking with Dazed. She says, one thing Sexy particularly enjoyed was making a cameo appearance with legendary wrestler Shawn Michaels for the WWE last year. She actually got offered a permanent role as a wrestler in WWE, but couldn't find the time to train properly, so settled for a cameo instead. Regardless of what the future holds, she says the wrestling world is a good analogy for how to handle the myriad pressures that come with being a popular recording artist. So she says rapping and wrestling are pretty much the same. It's not quite acting, but it's kind of acting too, right? Because when we go home and take off all our jewels and gold and remove costumes we wear, we then have to go right back to reality with our families. Yeah, and it's the same thing with like all that these rappers peddle, all the gang stuff and everything. Speaking of mafiosos and all that, right? If they're out there rapping and saying all this, very few of them are actually living that life. You know what I'm saying? They're out there saying this because they're not, or a lot of them, that's why they get caught up like stooging on each other. And so just the acting part of it is what she's saying. So they're both a lot like acting is what she's trying to get at. I don't know how much wrestling is like rapping, but it is entertainment. It is acting, right? You put on a costume, you put on makeup, and you make people believe in some. So anyways, Hulk Hogan and his Real American Beer Company, the WWE's newly signed official partner, are being sued by a woman after she was hit on the head with a can of beer last August. The impact caused the woman to have a big open wound to the forehead after Hogan and other promoters were riling up the crowd with free cans being thrown. Well, you know something, dude? We just call that color the hard way, Jack. We just call that getting color the old school way, dude. I don't know. She got hit in the head with a can of beer and was bleeding. I'd sue them too. No. No, in America, you guys sue for everything, dude. WrestleMania 42 is being held at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana, and it'll be announced before this year's annual event. It's all but confirmed. Pretty much everybody knows it'll be back in New Orleans. So, yeah, good luck getting out there. But look at that crowd, man, in that stage. Y'all remember that? It'll be huge, man, for next year. If they continue the way they're going, it's going to be like 70K probably both nights. WWE has signed Demolition, so I called it. I was like, these guys are probably getting signed to a Legends deal. I bet we'll get them in the video games, and it only makes sense if all of a sudden they're moved to the alumni section. So Phil, don't miss. WWE has signed Demolition, Bill Eadie and Barry Darsow, however you want to say it, to official WWE Legends deals. This one is surprising as Eadie and the then WWF were involved in a long drawn out legal battle over the rights to the Demolition name for many years. They were also part of the CTE lawsuit against the company that was eventually dismissed. Yeah, I don't know. UFC's going through that too. It's just, I honestly feel like, dude, if you're signing up for a physical sport, you sign that right away to complain about CTE later. And that might sound like vicious. And yes, sports should set up retirement funds and all of that stuff for athletes 100%. I think wrestling should do that and head in that direction, regardless of people unionize or not. But with that being said, when you sign up to play football, you know what you're signing up for. You can't then sue the NFL. Now, let's say like you get concussed and they force you to work and you get concussed again and then da-da-da. Yes, then you have a case. Like, let's say you get laid out flatlined on the football field and then you're playing the very next game and everyone's like, what the? And then you get laid out again and then later in life you're drooling on yourself. Yeah, you have a case there for sure if there's like negligence. But as far as just everyone teaming up and going, well, CTE, we're all going to sue you. It's like, no, man. Everyone, even soccer players, they find CTE in people who run now. Like everyone's got a touch of it, bro. It's just it's an accumulative thing. That's what we know about CTE now. Like everyone gets to some degree over their life, basically. Now, it might not be diagnosed CTE, but we're all just damaging our brains, basically, every day till you die. Okay, so we all accept that. And if you want to take the risk of physicality and add that on top of it, okay, I think that's on you more than anything. So I'm glad that it sort of gets settled. And Bailey played in the All-Star game yesterday, as we're looking at Bailey on the screen now. Or if you're in the future, like Phil of the future, Time Cop, you're looking at Bailey on screen. But she's so happy. She's at the NBA All-Star game. Here's her warming up. I don't know how it turned out, if her team won or not, but
I don't either.
Yes, sir.
Forgot all about it.
Oh, yeah.
He's knocking triples, dude.
Yeah, I saw that. Was she a baller in college?
I'm sure a little bit, hitting those PS triples, dude. So Ricky Starks has officially signed with WWE. And again, Phil, don't miss. So we talked about Ricky Starks. Vince Russo believes that Alba Fyre kept her job in because let me just first start off by saying this, okay? Isla Dawn got released. Bro, I've worked in Gorilla. Bro, I've been at ringside. Bro, I invented Stone Cold Steve Austin. And let me tell Evil Dose, bro, let me tell you, Isla Dawn, bro, got released, bro, because someone in WWE management has a crush on Alba. There, I said it, bro. Why don't these marks understand this? So yeah, Vince Russo with a conspiracy. Someone's got a crush on Alba. It's not that she's way more of a refined singles star in NXTs, we'll call it. It's all merged now, so just NXT in general, right? She also had singles runs as well as helped establish the tags. I feel like that's more of a reason, not that someone has a crush on her. Maybe back in the Vince days, in the private plane days, and sure, But Vince with just the craziest takes as of late, as
Yeah.
far as like with the whole Jey Uso thing, and then now with this, it's like you really think someone's crushing on Alba
Well,
over Isla too?
yeah, I mean,
No offense, Alba, you're beautiful, but over Isla, come on now, come on now. I got eyes, Vince. Just
in case
because
Isla's listening, we have a crush on you, Isla. So
there you go.
I have no idea why they would choose one over the other. I mean, but yeah, Alba Fyre is the more polished wrestler, but she's also, you know, twiggy sort of. I mean, they already have Lyra Valkyra, who's not over as a face. They already have, you know, Dakota Kai, who's twiggy. So, you know, to me, Isla Dawn is the more finished product, and they work well as a team. They need women teams, so I don't understand that move. I don't understand why Megan Morant is still on my TV screen as opposed to a million other people.
Yeah,
but I mean, I guess a crush that someone has on her is as good a theory as any. But I don't really think that's how a publicly traded company makes decisions.
No.
I mean, it would be pretty lame if they put Alba Fyre with Piper Niven as the secret Hervis, just because they're both Scottish. But that seems like a WWE thing then, now, and forever to do. But interesting theory, Vince. It's fine, I guess. I guess it's less wacky than my theory that Tony Khan's been keep people on payroll to finance their legal issues against Vince and WWE.
Samantha Irvin, more news about her. We covered earlier. She has a bit of a main character syndrome going on, and she believes that Vince McMahon would have taken her off of ring announcing.
Okay.
It's like, girl, what the? So she says Vince would have taken me off of ring announcing. He would have been like, put her somewhere else and have her do something else. Put her on my plane and have her text me. I mean, don't do that.
It's so weird. If you're not happy with where your spot is or was, Vince is your hero. If you are happy, Vince was the worst.
Exactly. In my head, I always thought that's what would happen.
I mean,
I don't know.
Even
man.
Corbin said that. Corbin's like, Vince wouldn't have released me. Well,
I know. And that's what I mean too. Husey came on my show and said it, and a lot of people got mad at him in the comments. They're like, he's just talking and stuff like that. But he was kind of right. He was like, look for some of these like Vince contract people to start leaving the company as well, like a Corbin, like a Sonya Deville. That was someone I speculated on. I was like, everyone knows she's like on bigger money than like her position will likely ever be in the company, because Vince had a thing, liked her, saw it in her. She was a GM. We talked about this a bunch, but
she was the GM.
Yeah, oh yeah, she was good and all that stuff. But it's just like, now she's just in PFC. Like, okay, I guarantee they would have kept her if she's willing to take a little less money, and her contract ran up too. So I bet you if she's willing to come back but take a pay cut. Now some people might think that, but I don't know, man. Someone like The Miz would take a pay cut. And he's a pretty famous guy, but to just be in WWE and be a part of it, Miz would take a pay cut and just be a glorified jobber, help get other people over and transition to a manager or something one day for sure. He's willing to do that. It's just being a part of the wrestling business. So lots of guys have had to do that. There's no shame in that. Although I get it kind of sucks, but Sonya, like if she was ever going to have her run, it would have happened already. Type. Now she's just sort of, in these random 6-woman teams. And
listen, Sonya is not someone that I think, I mean, this is not hate, but she didn't add anything to the promotion, and neither does Shayna, to be frank, and neither really does Zoe Stark. I mean, they're good workers in their own ways, but in the old days they would have been your people on Superstars that lost every week.
Yeah. So Samantha Irvin also reveals that she wanted to be a WWE referee before leaving. She wanted to do anything to be in front of the screen besides the one thing that everybody wanted her to do. And that, hey, listen, that's her prerogative. I'm not going to be like she's a bad person or whatever because of that. But all I'm saying is, if the personality and the singing didn't connect on America's Got Talent and The Voice or whatever shows you were on, and then that is what helped you get into this position where people were calling you the GOAT of something, a very small class of people that could even be considered the GOAT in pro wrestling and in that category. And you were quickly considered one, and you thought that you were going to parlay that into getting the validation and the stuff that you weren't getting the validation in before. Do you know what I mean, Dose? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I
She
now
wanted-
know
she-
exactly why she's with the guy she's with. He's got the
Yeah.
same issue.
Yeah, there the ding. Yeah, Undertaker's ding. Thank you, George. Here we go. So here's more Samantha Irvin talking about being on TV.
I am more of a fan than a ring announcer and an employee.
Samantha, come back.
You know,
Uh-oh.
I just wanted to have an opportunity to challenge if maybe it wasn't just the ring announcing people
Yeah.
loved.
So
I just wanted an
we covered this before. We can.
opportunity to challenge that notion. Give me a chance to see if maybe it's just Samantha.
Yeah, I mean, I went in on that already. I don't need to keep going off on Samantha.